LoreWarrior Online. CBR-02 Cobra. Overview. During the Marik invasions of 3057, Lyran Alliance commanders were impressed by the fire support actions of the enemy's new Apollo mech. The Lyrans contacted Earthworks, makers of the Apollo, only to learn that Earthworks had been instructed to refuse any orders for the Apollo from the Federated Commonwealth, and that they were extending that refusal to the newly formed Lyran Alliance. Undaunted, LAAF officials contacted Defiance Industries about developing a similar mech, a request to which Defiance gladly responded. Defiance engineers used field descriptions of the Apollo as the basis for their new mech design, retaining the LRM-15s, but choosing instead standard medium lasers over the less effective small pulse lasers. They also changed the placement of the weapons, putting them in the mech's arms to give a larger field of fire. LAAF officials requested that the new design, dubbed the Cobra for its HUD-like targeting and tracking system, be lighter and faster than the Apollo, but retain the standard engine to keep costs down. Capabilities. The Cobra then is intended as a fire support mech, and it serves admirably in the role. Though it lacks Artemis fire control systems for its LRMs, the Cobra's mobility enhances it to get a good firing position and gives it a range of motion that provides the missiles with a near 360-degree field of fire. Defiance chose to copy the missile arrangement of the Zeus, arranging the missile tubes around and set back from a solid core. This arrangement allows the Cobra to punch without fear of damaging the rack. Backing up the LRMs is a pair of medium lasers, classic short-range protection for a fire support unit. Using a standard engine keeping costs down, it also adds to the survivability of the Cobra. And despite all the miracles that Defiance managed to work, however, the design does contain flaws. It leaves no space for case equipment, a drawback that makes some pilots consider the Cobra a death trap in the modern era. Also, despite the use of ferrofibrous alloys, the Cobra does lack adequate armor for a mech of its size, sacrificing protection for speed. Only time will tell if this trade-off was a wise one. Deployment. The Cobra has so far gone only to the 3rd Donegal Guards, undergoing a test period with them. It's fairly certain that LAAF officials approve of the design, however, as production has begun in earnest, despite the fact that testing hasn't yet been completed. Other realms barred yet from purchasing Apollos have also expressed interest. The LAAF is expected to authorize sales to the Free Razelhag Republic, but it seems unlikely that either the Federated Commonwealth or the St. Ives Compact will be allowed to purchase this design. Yes, surely it must be named after the best Sylvester Stallone movie ever, Cobra. The 45-tonner with a chassis is the Defiance 450 Endo Steel. Its power plant is a Vox 225 with a cruise speed of 54 and a max speed of 87 kph with no jump capacity. Its armour is Lexington Limited high-grade ferrofibrous, and its armament is 2 Coventry Starfire LRM-15s and 2 Defiance B3M medium lasers. Its manufacturer is Defiance Industries, on the primary world of Hesperus 2. Its communication system is the Tharhes Calliope 270, and its targeting and tracking is the Tharhes Ares LM. Overall, its walk is 5, its run is 8, and again it has 10 double heatsinks for a nice cool 20 heat dissipation. It has 9 armour on the head, 16 on the CT with 5 on the rear, 15 on the side torsos with 4 on the rear, and 11 on the arms and 13 on the legs. The LRMs are located, again as it says, split between the arms, right and left, with the medium lasers also located equally in the arms, right and left, which you can see on the art above the launchers there. It has 32 rounds of ammo, obviously split between both launchers, giving it a pretty decent amount of firepower. However, it does look like a fucking Decepticon that's just popped out Soundwave and is trying to antagonize nearby Autobots. The art doesn't do this thing any favor, at least the pose. I don't dislike the head. I don't actually mind the arrangement of the weapons. The fact that apparently you can punch with these launchers and the launcher not be damaged by them. Interesting note. It's just, I don't know why it's got such a bizarre stance. I also don't really see the Cobra kind of hood sort of design. Yes, it does have a kind of thing behind its head that looks like a big fucking like air conditioning vent or something. It looks weird. It's not awful, but it's also it could be a lot better. Let's face it here, folks. It's not amazing. It's decent though. I mean, stats wise, I certainly don't sniff at the idea of a 30 LRM strike from this thing. It's not running anywhere very quickly, but that's not the point in the machine. It's meant to stay back, and it's meant to just dump missiles on you, and it's got a lot of them. It can do that for quite a while before it has to leave the field. So, yeah, again, it's a good. I think it's a good player mech. It's in the same kind of realm of use as, say, the Whitworth, for instance. Obviously being a little heavier, but even then, the armor isn't great, as it says. You know, the 16 on the CT is not a lot of armor, and that very quickly gets stripped down if it gets forced into a fight. So definitely a machine that needs to work closely with its lance mates to ensure that it can best use its firepower, but also stay out of actual direct fire from much larger threats or anything that's got a bit of range to it that can punch back. I do like it though. As far as a unit that I would use as an enemy, definitely. And also as a unit that's probably a good one to offer as an option for players who prefer to run in the fire support role. I can think of a few people who I've played on tabletop sim with who would definitely see the value of a Cobra being offered as a choice vehicle to use for fire support or just general support roles in general, coordinating with other teammates. It's also interesting that it's a Lyran Alliance machine, which means it opens up all kinds of scenarios where it's part of a force that players working in Federated Commonwealth might be involved in fighting against. The Lyrans using mercenaries to attack somewhere in Marik space, or again into the Fedcom sort of area. But the fact that it's also being sold to other groups as well, like such as the Ralzahag Republic, means that it's got a little depth. You know, you'll be able to see it in a couple of little locations here and there. So there's always the chance that possibly, as a GM, you could say that certain periphery states may also get the ability to buy some from Defiance Industries. I could imagine seeing this in Canopian space, Taurian space, that kind of thing. Cercinus, probably not, though. But maybe even Outworlds Alliance. I mean, any of those big three sort of periphery states probably aren't on the shit list of the LWAF, so they'd probably be able to get one or two, possibly. So, yeah. Don't mind it. It's just unfortunate. I don't know why it's squatting. It's a weird, or whatever this pose is, it's weird. It doesn't do the mech any favours. If it was just stood in a more kind of... natural doesn't seem like the right term, but just, you know what I mean, just something a bit better, pose-wise, it would probably be a lot kind of cooler, let's say. But, yeah, that's the Cobra. Decent weapons package, bad art. But I'll see you next time. Thanks as always for listening, and have a good week. Bye-bye.